Hey, welcome back. Today, I'm going to show you one common mistake that can totally destroy your throw. So what is this common mistake? Well, what I'm referring to is tilting back of the shoulders. And what I mean by that is at the moment the block leg makes impact of the throw, the shoulders are tilting back. All right, so some of the problems that exist when the left shoulder is lifting up at the point of impact of that block is that the upper body has this force moving down the runway, and so you're getting this force moving through here, and in order to get the throw to take place, we've got to quickly pull down on the left side in order to then come over the top to finish your throw. The faster you move down the runway, the harder it is to get the left shoulder down and out of the way so that the right side of your body can then produce the throw. Some of the negative things about tilting those shoulders as you're moving into that block is that it lowers your right hand. If you imagine, as you're moving down the runway, the goal is to have your hand climb up into the flight line of the throw. If you tilt your shoulders back at that last moment, just the moment when it's time to strike the upper body, and that hand drops low, what's going to happen is that javelin is going to want to go towards you, okay? The weight of that javelin is going to first want to go towards you before it's deflected up and over your body and into what you hope is the flight line. When I was a kid, I used to love riding my bicycle. In fact, my cousins and I used to love jumping our bicycles, and we would try and set up ramps to see how high and how far we could jump. One of the things that I noticed as a kid is that the more things that I stacked underneath of that ramp, the more pressure I was putting down on the ramp. All right, we didn't have a whole lot growing up, but we had at least a piece of plywood, and I recall a number of times breaking through that piece of plywood because there was so much downforce because the direction of the ramp was climbing so steep that the ramp could not sustain the forces put on it. So, one of the things about the Javelin is it's a very similar concept. The Javelin is heavy. It's 800 grams. At least for the guys, it's 800 grams. So the weight of it transferring down and underneath of you, you act as the ramp. And if your arm is on its way down and your ramp is too steep, there's going to be a lot of downward force onto your body, and you're going to have to quickly change the angle of your ramp, which is where the shoulders are when you're throwing. So what we're trying to do is increase the efficiency of the throw by making the ramp more simple and more of an easy deflection into the flight line of your throw. All right, so how do we fix this? Well, there's a few things that you can think about. One is controlling the left shoulder, trying to make sure that the left shoulder timing is coming down at the appropriate time with the block. Another way to look at it is the path that your right hand is, or your throwing hand is taking. So knowing that the hand is going to have a tendency to drop down as you're throwing, that when you move into that block, you want to try and lift it just a little bit. The idea, it's very subtle. It's really keeping the hand in the same place as the upper body is getting out of the way, but it can feel like it's a subtle lift, okay? So as I'm dropping into the throw, I'm trying to lift up and keep it up as I finish through. All right. The next thing that you can do is you can just simply start off with a progression drill. What I like to do is I like to start off thinking that the throw is going to be high to low, at least initially. So I'm going to stick the javelin up really, really high, and I'm going to put the tail really high, hand really high, javelin nose down, and I'm going to go and follow that line down into the ground. Okay? Now, the next piece is going to be gradually increasing the angle. So my hand is going to be a little bit lower this time. Javelin is going to be a little bit lower, and the tail is going to be a little bit lower, and I'm going to throw farther out, but trying to maintain the path that my hand is going. So back to front. And then we start adding a little bit more. The next piece is going to be, tail is going to sit down just a little bit, and my hand is going to stay right around my shoulder maybe even as high as my chin, but generally right around that shoulder level. I want to try and keep the palm of my hand. And then as I throw, I'm going to increase the rearward lean by changing my spinal lean versus tilting my shoulders. So now I'm leaning back more, but that javelin is still at a pretty decent angle, and I'm going to again follow through so that the path of my right hand is more level and through the point. Now this only gets more complicated as you're adding more and more down the runway, but the idea is as we move through this progression, you're trying to stay very focused on the path that your hand is taking. You can kind of feel it, so if you're throwing and the javelin is at a weird angle, you'll feel additional pressure, in different places. And so we're trying to throw through the point each time, but in that process, be super aware of the path that your right hand is taking. All right, I'm gonna leave it there. Thanks again for watching. If you like videos like this, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and remember, there's more resources on my website, CoachHalley.com. I appreciate you watching this video. Until I see you next time, have fun and throw bars.